Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, so if you find yourself in a position similar to us where things are kind of falling apart in your squad and you're like, nothing is going quite our way, there are some things you can do about it. One of the things I like to do, and you can do this in the middle of the season, is you can start bringing in players on loan. Just take a look at them. That can help you scout through players faster than you could otherwise. So you go over here to scouting. You do this a little bit slower. You go to scouting and up to players, and then to players in range. That's where it is now. You can go over here to edit search, and you can look for players who are unattached to their contract. You also look at guys who are non-contract if you want. We'll look at just sort of like unattached players for the time being. Now, I could look for guys who are up to 19, but as you can see, this will give me nothing, right? So there's not a whole lot of young players that are South Korean that have no contract. If we take away the nationality requirement, we can find a whole bunch of guys who are younger who have no current contract, going all the way down to age 16. It might also be something to do as well. We could look at like these Thai, Singaporean, Hong Kong players and stuff like that. So it gives you sort of like an idea of what you could look at depending on what you want. I might want to actually filter by nationalities. We want to make sure that we have a very Korean team. We could look at North Korean players, but no, there's none who are that young. Again, we can go up to age 45, and this is where we'll start seeing these guys. Like I said before, I don't want to necessarily have a whole bunch of guys who are necessarily older. Once we start getting to like 24, 25 or so, I'm not so sure about this. And you're going to get a whole bunch of these guys. You probably don't want the 37-year-olds. We were just getting rid of them. So what I like to do is I like to create a short list. You go over to short lists, and we'll create a new short list, and we'll call it, I don't know, like Trialists, something like that. And what we'll do here is we'll go back to the players in range page, and we'll take, these guys who are, I don't know, 24 and below maybe. We'll add them over to the Trialists short list. We'll put it on there indefinitely because it might take us a while to get through all of these. And we'll do the same thing for, say, like South Korean players. Let's see what comes up. So we got guys from age 20 to like age 24, something like that. There's a whole ton of guys here that we can look at. And we do the same thing. We add them over to the Trialist shortlist. And I don't know, what other nationality do we want? We want Chinese players, right? So we go look at the Chinese guys, and we're going to do the exact same thing. We'll go all the way back up. Here's my little thing. And we'll just scroll down to wherever age 24 happens to be. As you can see, all of a sudden, there's like tons and tons of players that we can choose from. So yeah, we add these players on, add shortlist, trialists, indefinitely. You can add up to, I think it's like around 500 players at once to a shortlist. It's an artificial limitation that the game puts in, and it's kind of a pain in the neck. You kind of wish that Football Manager would not put in this type of artificial limitation, and instead it would just let you pick all the players you want and stick them in a shortlist at once. So if there's a bunch of other guys that you're interested in having in your shortlist, you just have to like sort of keep a track of who these guys are and add them over slowly. We'll take a look. I don't know. We'll look at maybe some Thai players. We might find some guys from Thailand as well. And we'll kind of put them on over here. You know how I am. I want like the younger the better. Once we get past that certain age, they not only become more expensive, but you start getting a lot of baggage. So there you go. We have a whole bunch of players here on the short list now. We can go over here to the short list. We're on the trialist short list here. And I don't know. We can arrange it by whatever we want. Like maybe we can arrange it by like position. And so we can look at like all the guys from a certain position at once. So let's do that, right? We know that we need like defensive midfielders. All right. So I'll go look at this and we'll pick all these guys for defensive midfielders. Now, the rule is in Football Manager, you can have up to 30 guys on a trial at once. However, in my experience, you can technically only have like 29. So what we're going to do is we're going to offer a trial to these 29 players. We just do a 1-week trial. And then we're going to remove them from the short list. The reason why we do that is because then we can whittle down the short list so there's not like 1,000 players on this, right? Otherwise, this is going to take us a long time to like remember who we looked at before and who we didn't. We advance the game once, and look, all these guys want to go on trial with us because these are all players who have no team. So we will pull all of these guys in on trial. Now, the one thing I have to say is that because of the rules of the league that we're in, guys who are above 21 years old are not going to be able to actually play for the first team because they can't be registered until January. But we'll take a look at them anyway. I might go back through this again off camera and just not look at those guys, right? And say, okay, we only want the older ones. And then there are some things you look at here, right? So might not have the required ability and potential. He's 19, and yeah, he's totally inconsistent. There's all these problems with him. I mean, we can create a note. We can say inconsistent injuries or whatever, so that we don't look at this guy again, right? And then what we do is we right-click and we terminate his trial. Get him out of here. Great. And we just do this one at a time. Jie Cao Shu is inconsistent, unfortunately. As you can see, this pops up right away, which is really nice because then I can just go in and create the note. There's only a couple of things I'm looking for with these guys. And so, okay, we'll say this guy's inconsistent. We don't really want this guy, so we're going to, let's see, go back to contract, and we're going to terminate his trial. And we have another one here, Liu Tongdi. So as you can see, we're not actually looking that close to these guys. Look at this, fairly determined player. He's not going to play at this level, but he has the ability to maybe improve a lot in the future. They're saying he could improve a lot, right? This might be the sort of guy we want. We can approach to sign him right away. He will sign immediately. We're not going to send him out on loan because we actually need somebody for the first team squad. And look at this. We can pay basically nothing to him in wages and have him go ahead and come on. Is he going to be a great player or not? I don't know. Probably not going to be super. Now, what I do after I find a guy to sign is I will still terminate the trial. He's 21, which means that he's going to end up being on the B team right away if he comes in. That's the thing you have to watch out for. Again, because we go to squad and registration, players of the age 20 or younger on July 1st do not have to be registered. He turned 21 on so a year ago, right? So he was 21 on July 1st. So that's kind of the problem with him. And we can kind of go through the rest of this and look through players just one at a time and see if we can figure out, if there's anybody that we want to get this way, and then have them come onto the team. I mean, even if they wind up being on the B team, it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world because this is the way that you can kind of fatten up your squad. So again, I mean, the recommendation I have is, you go through, you create a big short list full of trialists, you arrange them by whatever, maybe by age or something like that, and then you just bring players on and just give it a try and see what happens. The worst thing that happens here is that you end up paying a little bit of money for a player who's never going to make it anyway. Well, we have a lot of guys in our squad who aren't going to make it no matter what we do. The best thing that could happen is you could wind up finding a really good player who's somehow slipped through the cracks. So there you go. It's my recommendation for you. Talk to you later. Bye.